Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We are going to give it another minute or so for people to keep joining into our meeting. Okay, I think we are just about there with our attendance. And I will do my best to multitask and start with our introductions while also taking a look at our waiting room. So, welcome everyone to our scholarship award ceremony. It's so great to see all of your faces, especially our scholarship recipients. I haven't seen you all since our networking event for the most part, all together in a Zoom call. So it's great to have you all here again. I'm really eager to hear from you. And we will start off by going over what today's awards ceremony will look like. We'll start off with some introductions from myself, and then we'll hear a little bit from our sponsors of this year's scholarships, which are Hearts for Us and Second Chance Fundraising. And then we will move into the presentations that have been created by our amazing scholarship recipients. So most of you probably know who I am. Introductions may not be necessary, but I am Sophia Renner, SODA's engagement manager. I have been with SODA for about a year and a half now. I started out as our student engagement coordinator. And this past fall, I started to facilitate our OPO relationships as well. So I work with our network of 70 chapters and their student leaders, as well as our OPO relationships, and of course with our event hosts and scholarship recipients. And we also have Nicole on the call. She's our program director. She gave a little wave. Most of you probably know Nicole too. And just another refresher, I'm sure most of you are aware of what our scholarship offerings were this year. We had our Laurie Smith Memorial Scholarship, which was awarded to a transplant recipient. We also had our student advocacy scholarships and HBCU organ and tissue donation advocacy scholarships, which were awarded to passionate student leaders who were eager to educate their peers about the importance of organ, eye, and tissue donation. And we are celebrating our second year offering the Laurie Smith and Student Advocacy Scholarships, and our third year offering the HBCU Organ and Tissue Donation Advocacy Scholarship. And you will hear a little bit more about these scholarships from our sponsors in just a moment. And along with the scholarship application that all of our recipients submitted, they also were charged with hosting an advocacy event in their school community or greater community that focused on educating and registering their peers and people that they knew about the importance of organ, eye, and tissue donation, and registering new donors. So these events took lots of different forms and look different from one another, as you'll see in the individual presentations later on. But overall, our scholarship recipients this year educated 1,228 people about organ, eye, and tissue donation. and registered 116 donors. So huge round of applause for all of the hard work that went into your events and your advocacy efforts. We are so proud of you for all the hard work you put into balancing your scholarship award with, of course, your school responsibilities as well. So thank you all for the dedication you showed to this year's scholarship. We're so appreciative of you, and we can't wait for you to share what your events looked like with everyone on the call today. And as I mentioned, we're going to hear a little bit from our sponsors of these scholarships as well. So I saw Craig join the call. If you'd like to unmute and tell us all a little bit about Second Chance Fundraising, we would love to hear more from you.
Yeah, thanks Nicole and Sophia for organizing all this, and thank you to all the recipients for joining us and telling us a little bit about what you're able to do, and honestly, just thank you for being advocates for a cause that obviously is so important to all of us that are on this call tonight. So, Second Chance Fundraising is my nonprofit. We're based out of Johnstown, Pennsylvania. I live in Pittsburgh, PA. And we're just a small 501(c)(3) that raises money for organ donation awareness. This all started because in 2014, at the age of 26, I was diagnosed with viral cardiomyopathy and told that I needed a heart transplant. And a year and a half later, after having an LVAD and being on the wait list for a year and a half, in 2015, I received my life-saving heart transplant at Allegheny General Hospital here in Pittsburgh. And then the following spring, my best friend and I started Second Chance Fundraising as a way to just give back and to try to raise advocacy about a cause that is important and honestly not talked about enough. So we mostly do, we've done a lot of different things over the years. Our big marquee event every year is a 5K that we hold in our hometown of Johnstown to raise money. But we've done bowling events, we've done golf outings, we've partnered with other community organizations here in Pittsburgh and around Western PA. I work a lot with our organ procurement organization CORE here in Pittsburgh. A few years ago, we did a really fun video campaign where I dressed up as our mascot Pumper, which is a big foam smiley heart. And the point of this video campaign was to show that transplant patients can do anything just like everybody else. So all summer as Pumper, I did all kind of crazy things like whitewater rafting, rode roller coasters, cliff jumped, played roller derby, went to the transplant games in Utah, and just had a really wonderful summer getting out in the community and talking to people about organ donation in a fun and interactive way. So recently, in recent years, I started a new job, and Derek and I's careers are kind of taking off. So we don't have as much time to kind of do the boots on the ground advocacy work that I used to. So when I got introduced to SOTA, I viewed it as a way to utilize what we have, which is time to raise some money, but not enough time to do a lot of advocacy work, and really work with SOTA to create opportunities for other people to do that again, boots on the ground advocacy work. So that's why we started these college scholarships, because I have learned through my couple years working in this field that college campuses are a unique place, and there's a lot of opportunity to make meaningful interactions with your peers. And oftentimes it's easier to talk to somebody your own age about important issues than other people that are professionals, so to speak. So that's really why we wanted to get involved in this. And I'm very happy that we have so many people across the country repping Second Chance Fundraising and repping SOTA, and doing it all in the name of spreading organ donation awareness, which is just very, very important. And I should add, I want to explain the Laurie Smith Memorial Scholarship was born out of the fact that we lost my mom 2 years ago to breast cancer at the age of 61. And my mom was just a tireless supporter of Second Chance Fundraising and all that we were trying to do. So when she passed, she was actually able to donate her corneas. She couldn't be an organ donor because of the cancer, but she was able to donate her corneas and give the gift of sight. So for my family to kind of go full circle and go from being a recipient family to a donor family and having that process, it was really fitting that we created a scholarship in her name for a transplant recipient who's going to be getting out there and doing that advocacy work. So just wanted to honor her for a second as well. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Craig, for sharing more about your personal connection with donation as well as your family's connection and I love hearing the pumper story. I remember seeing photos of it. I think, did you come to Donut Life America's conference in the pumper costume, or am I making that up?
Yeah, I've been more places than you would expect dressed as Pumper, including some inappropriate places. That video campaign, I'll add just a funny note. The video campaign was a lot of fun, but it ended because I tried to skateboard into a half pipe as Pumper, and I broke my foot and ankle. So I proved that transplant patients can do anything. I just didn't prove that they should do anything. So, but it was still fun for a good cause.
Yes, and I'm sure it was entertaining for those looking on who didn't experience the pain.
You can find videos of me breaking my ankle dressed as a heart on our social media accounts if anybody's interested.
I will be looking that up, that's for sure. Thank you again for sharing more. It's great to hear from you. And we are so grateful to have your support this year for the Laurie Smith Memorial and Student Advocacy Scholarships. And I'm very excited for you and everyone else to hear about the events that were hosted, thanks to your generosity. So we will also open up the floor to Hearts for Russ to share a bit more about the scholarships and the organization as well. So feel free to unmute. Is anyone on the call from Hearts for Russ that would like to share? I see Jen here. Would you like to speak a bit?
Okay. I didn't know I was going to be the person that was going to do that, so I kind of feel prepared to do this. Since I'm new to Hearts for Us and the board. Okay. Um, Hearts for Us is going to be celebrating their 10th anniversary this upcoming year. And I will just say this, it was an absolute pleasure to be brought on for Hearts for Russ. Russ was one of the youngest patients born as a blue baby, and Russ passed away 2 days after receiving a heart transplant, and he's got an incredible family that really wanted to continue his legacy. And they've really gone into this space like gangbusters, creating organ donation and awareness, and really continues to be strong advocates in this space, and partnered with SOTA because of their incredible work, and really wanted to do so, and received these incredible applications for the HBCU scholarships. And these applications that we received were just absolutely outstanding and remarkable. And when we reviewed these applications, we were absolutely inspired by these. And we all personally went through and read these applications. And, I myself, as a kidney and pancreas recipient, and I'm the only transplant recipient on the board of Hearts for Us. So reading what these applicants want to do in the space of organ donation was really touching. And having to go through and pick out which applications or applicants to award these scholarships to was incredibly tough for the entire board. I will just say that. So I'm incredibly excited to see what these applicants do moving forward in this space. So to be a part of this tonight, it's a real pleasure to be here and to represent Hearts for Us and to continue to work with SOTA. We're all really looking forward to this in 2024 and moving forward. So if I can just say that, since you guys put me on the spot, I'm not sure what else I can say, but it's truly an honor and a pleasure. And I will just say, in the past 10 years, Hearts for Us has raised over $250,000 for organ donation and awareness for non-for-profits in this space. And I know I speak on behalf of Doug and Jim and Pam and Beth and Carolyn and the entire Houseman family. It's an absolute pleasure and honor to be working with patients, families, and care partners to increase, education awareness for donors and for living donors. We applaud everyone in the transplant community.
Thank you so much, Jen. I apologize for putting you on the spot, but that was very well said.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing your connection to Hearts for Us and also a little bit of background on what it looked like to be part of the selection committee, because I did not envy those of you who were reading through the applications, and they were all just very well done and amazing. I think that just goes to show how impressive this group of recipients are to have been selected. And we are so grateful for Hearts for Us's continued support. And it's always a pleasure to get to meet with you and speak with you about our partnership. So thank you.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, we love what you guys do. So absolutely, absolutely.
Amazing. So we will go ahead and transition into our recipient presentations. Since this will take up a chunk of our time, I know we have some students who need to head out before the end of this meeting. So I wanted to start off with our HBCU Organ and Tissue Donation Advocacy Scholarship. Before we get into the presentations, I did want to touch on SOTA's role in closing the health equity gap. We recognize that we have access to a nationwide group of student advocates who are passionate about organ, eye, and tissue donation, which is why we find it so important to offer this scholarship along with different internship opportunities to HBCU students who would like to go that extra mile and work with SOTA to educate their peers and register them as donors. I did want to mention that internship specifically, we are still looking for someone to fill the HBCU marketing and event planning internship. So feel free to check that out on our website if you're interested. And along with those, we also do review and update our resources on a regular basis, and of course partner with our OPOs who help identify students to be student leaders on HBCUs to help host events and lead chapters outside of the scholarship opportunity. But with that being said, I will go ahead and hand it over to our first presenter. If you would turn on your cameras and unmute your mics once your slides are pulled up, and then you have the green light to get speaking. So we will start with Chelsea. Chelsea, feel free to unmute whenever you're ready.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's so nice to be here. I'm just honored to have received the scholarship and to be given the platform and the resources to do this for my campus. I am a second-year biochemistry major at Hampton University on the pre-med track. So my goal is to become a physician. I'm interested in surgery, so maybe one day I might do a transplant. And so my event was Donuts and Donors. So I bought a bunch of donuts and I created a trivia game, if you can see that on my laptop on the left side. And so it just came up with different facts and different things to educate people and also to allow them to play a game. And then I also let them read about statistics that I had along my trifold and share their thoughts, write their reflection on sticky notes. I had a lot of great positive feedback. I had a lot of people say that they didn't really know much about the issue or the fact that there's people out there on the list that have been waiting and need that. And I also got to debunk stigmas. A lot of people thought that, especially among the African American community, that if you are African American and you've been in an accident, if they see that you're an organ donor, like they're not going to save you, which is absolutely not true. So it was amazing to be able to educate people on my campus, people of my same age. And you can see those smiles on the face. They're really happy with their donuts and really happy with everything they learned. I found the planning, the submitting my proposal, getting the budget, I found those skills to be very amazing in my personal and professional development. So I'm really grateful for that experience and opportunity, as well as just to be able to share. This was a very busy time in our student center. A bunch of people have tables selling things, teaching other things. So I was really grateful that so many students came to mind. So many students were able to learn more about SOTA, learn about how they can register and just be impacted. So I'm really grateful. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chelsea, for sharing more about your event. I love the different elements that you incorporated with the trivia game and the reflection piece. I think that ties a really nice bow on the importance of education and also giving students an opportunity to reflect on the conversation you had at the tabling event. And it does look like a very highly populated spot, which is always great because tabling is a skill. And I believe that it was a confidence boost to have students stop by and be so interested And as you will all see, donuts are a theme throughout these presentations. I myself love a free donut. So thank you again, Chelsea, for sharing a bit more with us about your experience hosting your event. We will now move on to another presentation by Debbie, and feel free to just let me know when you'd like me to tap through the slides.
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Devi Fuller. I currently attend Prairie View A&M University. I am a senior kinesiology major with a minor, well, I'm double majoring actually in biology. I'm on the pre-dental track, and I currently serve many positions on campus. So this was very exciting to be able to host this event. And I definitely wanted to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity and the platform to receive this scholarship. It really meant a lot to me. I am an out-of-state student, so it really helped. And I was just excited to educate my community on the stigma of organ donation. You can go to the next slide. So introduction, my event was donuts and organ donation, and it was a success. There were a lot of students that I was able to talk and educate. And there was a few setups that day. I don't think I did it on a really busy day, but a lot of students are in the Memorial Student Center all the time. That's where we eat. So it was very easy to pull the attention from students to come to my table. And I had pens, I had donuts, I had lifesavers, just everything on the table. It was a really cute setup. You can go to the next slide. And I wanted to let you know why I was passionate about organ donation. Because first, it saves lives. And a lot of people, like Chelsea said earlier, a lot of people in the Black community do have that stigma around organ donation. And when I was telling my fellow like classmates and peers, they were like honestly scared at first, but I had pamphlets on the table. I also had some facts on my iPad, and I was just sharing that just to educate them and just for them to understand that that's not true and it does save lives. And I got to tell them the story of the lady calling me who told me about my scholarship. I'm not sure, I forgot her name, but it meant a lot to me when she called me and told me that my application spoke to her, and I was able to share that with the other students, letting them know that I pretty much help someone in their life with organ donation. So it felt good. And then my event was October 10th. I gave away donuts. I told students to sign up. And then my favorite part about the event was obviously being able to educate the different students in my community at my college, because a lot of people do not know the importance of organ donation. And that's it.
Thank you so much for providing that explanation. I know that we let our scholarship selection committee, I believe, do the phone calls for Hearts for Us and Second Chance as well. So I'm glad you enjoyed receiving the personalized call. I think it's a nice touch as well. And I loved your event, and your slide deck is very beautiful too. I love the graphics that you used. I think it's super fun. So thank you so much for sharing more. We will move right along to Jasmine's presentation. Jasmine, if you're ready to unmute.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Wyndham. I'm a sophomore psychology, biology, chemistry minor, psychology major, biology, chemistry minor at Morgan State University. And this was actually my first year at Morgan. Prior, I went to North Carolina A&T, so like I'm HBCU down. But yeah, so my event was Pizza and Perspectives. And basically it was a panel. It was a discussion panel. And originally they were the panelists, the bottom middle picture, the first two women are panelists, and then that's Miss Latrice. She is from my OPO organization, and she helped me organize and get them all together. And then the guy in the middle, he's a Morgan graduate, and he also was on the panel because he had a liver transplant. And basically we just sat down and we had a conversation about organ donation Well, it really started by asking them what they know about organ donation because there is so much stigma. So we wanted to like hit the points that they already knew, and then we went from there. Everyone told their story, and then it was an open discussion with like questions and stuff like that. Oh, and of course, we handed out free pizza, so that was a plus to getting people to come. Let's see. What else? I hosted it pretty early in the fall semester. I hosted it in October, right around midterms, right before midterms, and it went really well. I actually partnered with with the Student Research Center, which is an org that I'm not a part of, but I thought that they would enjoy partnering with me. So I partnered with them. And so the person on the top picture, the top left picture, stooped down, that's Medina. She's the president of the Student Research Center. And so it was a lot of emails between me and her and me and Miss Latrice trying to get everything together. But everyone seemed to really enjoy themselves. And I was excited to teach people a lot. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that. And I heard some really great stories. Anything else?
That was perfect. Thank you, Jasmine. You captured some really great photos from your event. And Jasmine and I will also be speaking next week at AMAT's African American Work Group. They're holding a panel. So Jasmine will be sharing more information about this event that she hosted with them as well. So I'm really thankful for you for joining us today, and also next week for your additional effort in speaking with them more about pizza and perspectives. Thank you, Jasmine. We will move right along to the next presentation. If you are ready to unmute, we are ready for you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Najia Shakir. I am a graduating senior nursing major at Tuskegee University in Tuskegee, Alabama. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I also did Donuts and Donors. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Okay, so why am I passionate about organ, eye, and tissue donation? Organ, eye, and tissue donation is a vital component in some instances for life-saving measures. And it's a selfless act that contributes to the well-being of others and also helps to foster a sense of community amongst plant recipients and donors as well. We can go to the next slide. All right, so I hosted Donuts and Donors on October 25th, 2023 in Tompkins Hall at Tuskegee University, also known as the CAV. So this is where students of Tuskegee, go to eat, we hang out. This was happening on a Wednesday, which is a highly populated time during the week. During lunch, a lot of organizations come out to speak to students. There's music going, it's just great vibes in the cab. So for this event, I was able to register almost 15 organ, eye, and tissue donors. And I was able to speak to almost 80 students as they walked in through the cab. So that was really interesting. And on this day, I believe there were high schools visiting my school as well. So although they were not able to register as organ donors, I was able to answer their questions about organ donation. And again, like my peers were saying, speak to the stigma of organ donation within the African American community. And that was pretty much my favorite part of this event, was breaking down the stigma along with Ms. Latoya Bishop and Abby Levatsky from Legacy of Hope, which is my OPO, about 2 hours away in Birmingham. I was so grateful that they were able to come and help me with this event. So yes, that was pretty much it. I had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you, Najia. I really appreciate you sharing your experience. And I'm grateful that Legacy of Hope was able to join you as well, and you were able to connect with them in person. That's always very special. And I think it's awesome that you targeted your event on a day that's so highly popular in your cafeteria. That's just a great way to strategize and make sure you reached a wide audience, and you had some awesome impact numbers. So thank you for sharing those with us. We will also have a section for questions at the very end for all of our scholarship recipients. So hold on to those if you thought of any for any of our HBCU recipients. But we will now be moving to our Laurie Smith Memorial Scholarship. This was awarded to Jerry, who wasn't able to be with us here today, but they sent us a video. So I will play
Hi, everyone.
it. Could you guys hear the audio just then? Okay, perfect. So I'll go ahead and play this and we can go ahead and listen.
My name is Jerry.
Sophia, you can't mute when you're playing the video. We can't hear it anymore.
Thank you, Nicole. We'll try that again.
So a little introduction for those who don't know me. I'm currently a freshman at George Washington University. I'm majoring in political science and data science. I'm a former liver transplant recipient, and one of the reasons I got involved with SODA and the scholarship is because I'm passionate about organ donation advocacy, and I want to spread awareness and educate people about saving lives, and helping others get a second chance at life, like I was fortunate enough to be granted. And a little bit about my event. I was able to make an Instagram page and created posts regarding organ donation. And some of these posts involve facts such as the potential life saved as a result of organ donation, some of the waiting list statistics, and more. And this occurred throughout December of 2023. And these are two posts that I made for the event Instagram account. On the left is a little bit of statistics regarding organ transplants. So how over 113 organ transplants occur each day in the U.S. And over 900 children under the age of 18 are on the waiting list to receive a transplant, as well as more facts. And on the right is showcasing who's in need of a organ transplant the most that's on the wait list. And one thing I learned is that nearly 60% of people that's on the waiting list are from minority communities. This is one thing that I didn't know before working with SODA. And as a result of my event, I was able to gain 398 interactions. This included views and likes on my post on the event Instagram account, and for my personal Instagram account promoting the post and promoting organ donation advocacy and that sort of thing. And I was able to gain 21 likes total on all of the posts on my event Instagram page, 13 followers, and over 1 organ donor registration as a result of my event. And the last part is the reflection. So my favorite part of this whole event was being able to talk to my friends and followers about the importance of organ donation, and the positive impact that it has on saving others, on saving people's lives, and giving them a second chance. And by being with SODA, I was able to learn a lot of facts about organ transplantation and organ donation, such as the positive impact. And if you can see in the US, like before, I didn't know that nearly half of the transplants occurred in the US. But now with SODA, I was able to learn that fact as well as more facts about organ transplantation and donation. And now through the help of my OPO, I'm now looking to get involved and help out at events local in the DMV area to continue to promote organ donation after my time with SODA has ended. Thank you, everyone. Hi, everyone.
Let's see here. I think Jerry's event was a great example of the power of Gen Z mobilizing in the digital world. It's something we're seeing more and more here at SODA National, is the power of online and social media-led events. And I think we'll hear a little bit more about a similar event later on in the presentation. But thank you to Jerry. Couldn't be with us today because of the scheduling conflict, but I appreciate him sending in that video to share more and creating such a nice presentation for us all. And that brings us to our Student Advocacy Scholarship. We also had one student who was unable to join us today, Alexis, and we have a recording of her presentation as well that we will jump right into.
Hello, my name is Alexis Wine, and I was the recipient of the 2023 SODA Scholarship. I am passionate about organ and tissue donation because a few years ago, my cousin had passed away. He was an organ donor and he got to save many lives by donating his heart and other organs to people in need. Shown in the picture is my dad, who unfortunately passed away and became a tissue donor. Both of these events have greatly impacted my family's lives and allowed us to have a greater appreciation for organ and tissue donation. My advocacy event was held on September 16, 2023 at my college, which is Temple University, located in the heart of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. My event was to make people aware of organ and tissue donation with some merchandise and goodies. I had set a table with goodies and papers of information about organ and tissue donation. My favorite part of my event was learning about the different views of organ donation throughout different cultures and religious beliefs. I also got to educate around 25 to 30 people about the wonderful community of organ donation.
Amazing. Thank you, Alexis, for sending in that video. I really appreciate her for sharing her personal connection to donation and tying that into the value of the event that she hosted. And now we will move right along to Allison, who is here with us today. Feel free to unmute and start sharing more with us about your event.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Allison Pollard, and I've been working in organ donation since 2018 when I worked as a liver transplant research assistant at a hospital near me. I'm so passionate about organ, eye, and tissue donation due to the ultimate gift that one can give. I feel in modern times, most people want to see the effects of their goodwill and donation, and those who wish to donate their organs at the time of their death never get the opportunity to see that. I think organ donation is such a phenomenal aspect of humanity, and I'm so passionate about encouraging others to consider this selfless gift, while also celebrating and supporting those who have received the gift of life. To this day, I actually work as a liver and kidney transplant nurse at Leahy Hospital and Medical Center, so I see the gift of life every single day. When I became involved with SODA, I became involved through the referral of New England Donor Services, my local OPO. Jen Cray, who came to see me today, which I'm so thankful for, she's a volunteer coordinator, and she encouraged me to start a chapter at the University of Massachusetts Lowell, where I received my undergraduate degree in nursing, and I'm currently working towards my PhD in nursing. On UMass Lowell's campus, we work to incorporate organ donation education to undergraduate courses while also having a presence in the campus community. But when I received this scholarship, I wanted to reach outside of UMass Lowell and kind of bring organ donation to a different group. I wanted to bring them to middle school students. In December, I addressed 30 fifth grade middle school students at a local middle school in my hometown of Lowell, Massachusetts, along with a few teachers who accompanied these students. Truthfully, I was concerned about promoting organ donation to 10-year-old students, as I wasn't sure about the way they'd be able to comprehend the idea of death and organ donation. I was concerned that they would have a negative reaction towards my talk and that would follow them for the rest of their lives. I decided to start slow with education, focusing mostly on the major transplantable organs and tissues throughout the body and what it would look like if those organs didn't work the way they should have. Through this conversation, I learned that 75% of the class already knew about organ donation. A few of them had family members who had donated, who had received organs, or who were living with a chronic disease that could eventually lead them to organ donation. Remarkably, one student noted that he himself had a chronic disease, asthma, and that prompted a class conversation about lung transplant in relation to asthma. All the students in the class were extremely interested and engaged with the conversation, using their critical thinking skills and underlying knowledge of their bodies to guess what the transplantable organs in their bodies did. The student's teacher told me that those who participated in my presentation rarely talked in class, so she was so impressed on the engagement. As you can see on my slide, kind of the middle photo, students wrote exit tickets about what they learned. It's kind of small, but all of them said, they can save up to 70 lives and all the things we tell all of our people who are engaged in organ donation. But from this experience, I learned so much about the interest and capacity of middle school students in relation to organ donation. I feel like this group of students is often avoided in terms of advocacy to kind of prevent those hard conversations from happening, but I realized that they already understood. And I think that New England Donor Services, SODA, and any OPO throughout the United States has a really great opportunity to reach out to the younger populations, starting advocacy at an even younger age. I'm so thankful for this opportunity because the school actually asked me to come back and talk about organ donation in their health class. So I'm going to go in April to get them geared up for Donate Life Month. So I just wanted to say thank you again from the Stocklow's Middle School, Second Chance Fundraising, Soda National, Jen Cray, and all my friends in the transplant community that helped me to get here.
Thank you so much, Allison. This is such a unique event, and I find it so interesting that 75% of these students already were aware of organ donation, and that they were so engaged in the conversations. That is such a wonderful thing to hear, and I think it's also the beauty of this age group. And it sounds like you might have a specialty in teaching coming up, so just something else to add to your amazing list of what you've accomplished. And SODA is really grateful to have you in our network and still so involved. So thank you for sharing more about your experience working with middle school students. We will now pass the mic over to Emily, so feel free to unmute whenever you are ready.
Hi, my name's Emily, and I'm a junior at the University of Pittsburgh, and I'm studying public health. And to give a little background about why I care so much about organ donation is my dad's actually received 3 organ transplants, 1 kidney, 1 liver, and another kidney. And my mom donated to him actually in 2018, and they were all here at the University of Pittsburgh. So we're very fortunate, and I got to see how organ donation affects people firsthand with my dad. And if it wasn't for organ donors, I wouldn't have my dad here with me today. So that really made my family really passionate about organ donation and advocacy. And so my older brother started a SODA chapter actually at his university and college, which really inspired me to want to do the same and join SODA here at my university. And in high school, I was able to give a TED Talk on organ donation called Giving the Gift of Life. And through those experiences, I've just loved advocating for organ donation. So that was why I was so excited to receive the scholarship and be able to advocate more. So you can go to the next slide. So unfortunately, my event was unable to be in person on campus just because of campus policies, but that's okay because I thought what better way to reach this generation of kids without using social media. So I did my event through social media, through Instagram story, and I kind of used some SODA graphics and statistics to explain kind of more about organ donation, and I did this on December 10th. And over 600 people saw this, and it was really interesting to see the different people like the Instagram story, the people that I've never really met in person or just have been mutual with, seeing that they've noticed it, they read it, and they liked it, and they went out of their way. So my favorite part was just watching people engaged with this and watching people slide up and tell me their own stories that I had no idea about, or just say that this is awesome. And so I'm really thankful that I got to do that, and I learned how much how the importance of local impact rather than just larger impacts, because I got to see firsthand how little things like this can affect just my local community.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing more about you and your family's connection to donation and what encouraged you to apply for the scholarship, and also for giving us a look into what it's like to host a virtual event. I really like your mention of people who maybe you don't speak with too often in person, feeling comfortable engaging in an online platform. I do think that's the beauty of social media and something that is so unique that our generation gets to experience so frequently. And I love that it was really related to organ donation. So this was a great example of, I think, the power of social media, especially for these education initiatives. And we really appreciate you, Emily, for following in your brother's footsteps and taking an interest in SODA and donation advocacy. So we will now have Contessa unmute. Whenever you are ready, we are ready for you.
Hi, everyone. I was really grateful that I was picked to receive this scholarship. My plan is to become a nurse to work with transplant patients and organ donors. I myself am an organ donor. My husband received a kidney because of a paired exchange that I participated in. You can go to the next slide. This is me and my husband on the day of his transplant and my organ donation. We were in the bed right before his surgery, and we were kind of unsure of how the day was going to go, but obviously it went great for us. You can go to the next slide. This was our support team, our family and stuff the day before our surgery. We made little shirts and went into the hospital, and a lot of people asked about the shirts and what it meant, and they got to talk to people about organ donation, which was great. You can go to the next. This is me and my husband on the day that we were released from the hospital. It was already crazy different for him. So dialysis was terrible. If anybody's ever got to see anybody on dialysis, it was awful. This is a group picture of me, my husband, and my recipient, his donor. There's a pinwheel ceremony at Columbus we got to participate in. They honor organ donors and the recipients, and they planted over 12,000 that year. So we got to volunteer to do that and kind of talk to people about organ donation, which was great. You can go to the next. And this is me and my recipient again. This was her second kidney. They said that she was probably very unlikely to find a kidney, and that we were a very, very close match, and that it was like hitting the lottery for her, which was incredible. You can go to the next. This is me and my 10-year-old daughter at the event that we hosted. We reached out to various transplant centers in our area, and they provided us with different merchandise along with what SOTA provided. And we were able to hand all that stuff out and talk to people in our area and kind of educate people of, again, a paired exchange, because a lot of people don't understand that you can still donate an organ, even if you're not a match for your intended person. And you can help not only your person, but the person that will get your organ. You can go to the next. And here's our table. You can see we got little sunglasses and some bracelets and some pins and some little stress ball kidneys and a bunch of other little fun things. And here I am again at our little event. Unfortunately, we got rained out mid-event, which was crazy. But I was really grateful to host this and talk about my personal experience and kind of give some insight on the personal aspect of organ donation. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for really taking us through your journey doing the paired exchange. I do think that is a great thing to be spoken about, and it brings a different light to this group of recipients and really the importance of donation. And I appreciate you including your recipient and all those beautiful photos as well. It was a beautiful presentation. And I'm sorry to hear your event was rained out. Your table was beautiful. I would definitely have stopped by and taken all of those goodies. So yes, thank you so much for sharing more. I will now open the floor to any questions that you may have been saving for our recipients. So feel free to unmute, ask some general questions if you have any for anyone specific. I will give us a minute or two to ask them.
I don't have a question, but I just want to say you all did a great job.
Yeah, it's Doug Hausman from Hearts for Russ. I don't know if Jen Benson. Jen, I was a little late. Did you get a chance to introduce yourself?
I did. On the spot. Thanks, Doug.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm sorry about that. I came about 20 minutes late. I apologize. I was caught on another call, but what amazing stories and advocacy. This is this is why we give to SOTA, and why we raise monies. As Jen probably relayed, I lost my brother about 11 years ago following a heart transplant, and we started Hearts for Russ, and we've raised over $300,000 the last 10 years in his name for organ donation advocacy and support for people going through transplants. And SOTA is one of our really important partners and have just done such an amazing job. And when they talked about the HBCU scholarships, that it hit exactly the kind of advocacy we wanted to support. And all of you have done just amazing work in hosting those events. It's very hard. We know, like, it's hard to get up in front of people who you don't know and put yourself out there, right? And that's what you did, right? You put yourself out there and you learn from those experiences. They will change you, you know, when you're showing honesty and you believe in what you're saying and you're passionate about it. People feel it, they know it, and it stays with them. So trust me, even if you only had 10 people who you were able to touch, you touch those 10 people and they'll touch another 10. And when the issue of organ donation comes up in conversation, which it will throughout their lives, they'll say, oh, I know about that. And, you know, each person can save many lives. So really, really well done to each of you. And we're really happy to support SOTA again this year.
Yeah, I'll kind of echo Doug just a moment and say that as somebody who is helping to raise money in this field, it's always a little scary in a sense to hand your money over to an organization and hope that it's going to good use. And you know, so a round of applause for Nicole and Sophia as well. But really just, you know, again, I don't have the time necessarily to do as much of the advocacy work as I used to be able to do. I love doing it, but I can't as much. So to have all of you students out there doing this advocacy work, it's very, very important. And I think I can speak for probably Doug and the other people. It really makes us feel like we're making an impact, even if we're not out in the community doing it ourselves. So thank you for that. And I'll thank you for that, but also encourage you to get back out there and put a plug in for a program that Hearts for Us and Second Chance are both working on SOTA with, which is the College Campus Challenge. We just wrapped up our first College Campus Challenge, but we'll be having another one in the fall, I would assume. So if that is something that you're interested in, you should talk to Sophia and Nicole and get involved with that, because it's a really fun aspect as well.
I just want to say kudos to everybody. I know I put something in the chat earlier, but it just, you know, it's been over 10 years ago that I was an advisor at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, and I was over the Student Alumni Ambassador Group. So I love working with college students. And you all have such a passion, and even beyond, you know, it's something that is so amazing. And for myself, being a living kidney donor, donated a kidney 10 years ago to my husband. But I say kudos to you all, because I know a lot of times it can't be easy, you know, going to your peers, trying to talk to them, dispel those myths and things of that nature. So I just say kudos to you all, and just continue with the great work. You all are all doing a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job.
Hey everyone, I'm not sure if I'm on the screen or not. I clicked something, but I just wanted to, my name is Edward. I just wanted to say kudos to each of you all for all the amazing work that you're doing, especially at such a young age. I got sick in college, so and prior to getting sick, I wasn't thinking nothing about organ transplant. I was too busy having a good time, but just to be so young, doing such remarkable work for such great cause, it's truly commendable. So yeah, keep up the great work, and kudos to you all as well, SOTA. Once again, I truly admire you all in any way I can continue to be of assistance. You know, I'm here for you all. So yeah, keep up the great work, everyone.
Thank you.
I would like to ask a question, if I can, to some of the HBCU recipients, if I may. When you're out there doing these tabling events, what are some of the hesitations when you're out there, or pushbacks that you're hearing from them as to why they don't want to register to be organ donors still? Besides, you know, the common myths that I think many of us know that are out there, but are there still some like crazy myths that you're hearing that we can, as people go out there and kind of help,
Yeah, I see.
you know,
raised her hand. So you can feel free to unmute, Jasmine.
And so I didn't, can you see me? So I didn't hear any like really crazy myths, but a lot of like the mistrust in the medical community in general with Black people comes from history. So
Yeah, okay.
I'm in
So
research.
the
I'm in
typical
research.
ones.
So yeah.
Okay.
So I'm in research. So particularly, it's really difficult for me to get like Black participants in a lot of my research because of the past. And so that's why I did the organ donation, because I feel like we're having the similar issue when it comes to Black people in science and trusting doctors and trusting people of higher authority. And I think they took the information better because it was coming from a Black person. And so I think that's why a lot of them really listened to us and was willing to understand where we were coming from.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Just to piggyback off of Jasmine, like I stated, I am a student at Tuskegee University. Excuse me. And a lot of the history is a very big part of it. I'm sure someone on the call knows about the Tuskegee syphilis study. So that was something that I actually I had to you know, talk to my fellow peers about and get them to understand. And I feel like for some of my peers, it was easier to dispel those myths and break down those stigmas. But again, because of the history of it, it's just, it's still going to be a barrier that we're going to have to work towards.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I would have thought kind of now as like there are younger generations, maybe some of those barriers have been broken down, but I guess not, right? That's still a real difficult challenge that we face, but that's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, Jen, I want to add here in Baltimore, I mean, in Baltimore, we have Henrietta Lacks, and that's very new. That was in the 50s. And as a matter of fact, her son just passed away a few months ago. So she still has family here. So she has living relatives here in Baltimore that that were affected by this. And so I think that's still, although, you know, some of them coming up may not have heard about Tuskegee, but we still definitely here in Baltimore, Henrietta Lack's name is very big, and that's very still recent with her having family living here, still living.
Okay. I guess the 50s isn't, I guess it's all relative, right?
Yeah, but like again, she still has family here. Like I've met her granddaughter, her great granddaughters, and they are advocates in the community. Hopkins just recently did a payout to them, and they've been suing. They've never paid her or anybody in her family for this, and so that's why this is still big in the news. They just won a settlement a few months ago, and then they're going after other research companies because everybody has used her cells and nobody paid anything for them. They were all made rich from off of her cells, so that's why it's still a big story.
Oh wow, I didn't realize.
Can I piggyback off of Latrice? I will you know, I was formerly, as a matter of fact, just yesterday was my last day with Donate Life North Carolina. And probably in September or October, I was doing a tabling event at one of their football classics in Rocky Mount, which is kind of a rural area in North Carolina. And I was exhausted by the time I finished those like 3 or 4 hours I was out there, because people that came out of their cars and were going into the stadium and stuff, when I mentioned organ donation, it was a predominantly African-American football game and all of that, they would literally run from me. There was a lady that was a nurse that she's like, no, I'm a nurse. No. And it was mind-boggling to me. That was the first time I had ever seen it to that extreme at one particular event. I kept getting up and down and up and down. By the end of it, I told my husband, I'm like, I'm exhausted. Which is the reason why we still have to continue to get out there, especially in communities of color. It's so important. And finally, I know one remark that one woman said to me one time, one of those myths and stuff. She's like, well, if I'm in a car crash or something and it's between me and Oprah Winfrey, they're not gonna save me, you know. And it's just, you just try to keep a straight face and present the facts. That's all you can do. So still a lot of work to be done, and I'm so glad our scholarship recipients and more are here to continue. It's so much work has to be done.
Yeah, and I'm just learning about the Puerto Rican and birth control, and that wasn't so long ago. So yeah, things are still, I'm sorry, Debbie. Is it Debbie?
It's Divide. Oh, but I wanted to make a comment. I know you stated that I think it was Miss Jen, you stated that you believe that it was, I mean, over time that us as a Black community probably would it'll, I guess, change our stigma. But I guess what I can say is because things are still happening in the medical field that does scare the African American community, it's still a present thing. So when we are advocating for organ donation, it is hard, but I'm happy that I'm able to be the bridge between the African American community and people who don't know, because it's still going on, like a lot of things in the medical field, like pregnancy, mortality rates with the African American community, and that's another thing. So it's just like the relationship between the medical field and African Americans has been very strained through history, and I wish history could change, but because there is statistics and facts, people are still going to be afraid, and that's why we're here to, I guess, change that stigma.
Yeah, I meant like with barriers kind of coming down. I just think like younger generations now, I think, are becoming more accepting in general with our outlooks. So that's kind of what I was thinking, like as a whole, younger generations would just accept things better. So that's what I was hoping, right? But obviously I'm mistaken, right? In that respect. Yeah. But no, I mean, I think the medical community, right, has messed up in so many different cultures and minorities, right? That's the problem, right? So I can see a bit of the hesitations and mistrust, why it's there, for sure. Absolutely. I definitely recognize that. Yeah.
I think this was a great discussion to really highlight the importance of all of our recipients, especially those of you who spoke about your experience advocating on your HBCU campuses. You are all champions for organ, eye, and tissue donation, and we are so beyond proud of the effort that you put into advocating with your peers and having those difficult conversations and really putting yourself out there, because like Doug said, it's not always within your comfort zone to speak to strangers, especially about such a sensitive topic. And I know we are all just so proud of the hard work and effort you put into this year's scholarships. Beyond just the impact numbers, I think the thoughtfulness that you really showed through your events really stood out to me this year. So I'm so grateful for each and every one of you and to have gotten to meet with you all one-on-one. And that brings me to this last slide, which is just if you're interested in continuing to advocate for donation with SOTA, we have two different pathways. Our lower commitment option is hosting another one-time event. If you'd ever like to receive additional funding to put on another advocacy event on campus, the application process is super simple. You can even just email me if you're interested and we can get you set up. Or if you know of a few other students on campus who might be passionate and interested in joining you, you can consider starting a SOTA chapter. And again, I'd be happy to send more details. And for those of you who do attend an HBCU, we have our marketing and event planning internship, which is paid and remote. Essentially, you'd be doing along the same lines of what you did for this event. So you can find more details at sotanational.org/join our team. And if you're interested in hosting an event or starting a SOTA chapter down the line, that's at sotanational.org/students. And thank you all for joining on a school night. I really appreciate it and sharing more. And I know everyone on the call found it very educational. So I'm so grateful to have had you all here. And hopefully we'll all be in touch again very soon. Thank you.
Great job, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. I
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Nicole. Thanks, Sophia.
Of course. Thank you.
Take good care, guys.
Take care.